but it's an auspicious occasion because it is our first question and answer period with the Realist. The Realist Indie Film Club, as you may know, is a platform that is designed to show amazing independent films like Call Me Dancer that have played tremendously all over the world, have won awards, but not quite enough people have seen them. So I encourage you, if you haven't seen the film, to watch it here on the platform at realist.stream. And if you have seen the film, watch it again because it's a great watch. And the other thing that the Realist is dedicated to is making sure that we can support independent filmmakers and independent artists. So we are committed to, the subscription fees that will help that you pay to be able to see these films. A good chunk of it is going right back to the filmmaker. So we want to make sure that this is a community of people who can who appreciate independent film and can work together to support independent film. So with that said, I hope you'll explore all the other films that are on the platform as well. But tonight, it's Call Me Dancer. And it is an amazing film about, Manish Chauhan, who is here with us tonight, who is, when we meet him in the film, is a 17 or 18-year-old street dancer from Mumbai, and with dreams of becoming a ballet dancer. And he doesn't have a lot of options until, by some good fortune, he runs into Yehuda Maor, and so he is a professional dancer for many, many years with the Israeli National Dance Company and other places too. We'll find out exactly where. And it's a lovely film that follows their journey as teacher and mentor, as student and coach, to fulfill Manish's dream. And it is also gorgeously captured by director Leslie Shampaine, who is here with us as well. And Leslie, you were a dancer, right? And so when you first started this, was there a particular type of dance film that you were hoping to make? Was there something did you go in with a vision, or was it more, we're going to step back and just sort of see how this develops?
I think I didn't know exactly what to expect. It's the first film I've directed. I've been a producer for my whole career. I was, as you said, a professional ballet dancer. And when I finished my career from the stage and I retired, I then went into documentary filmmaking, but as a producer. And then this story fell into my lap through Yehuda. Yehuda invited me to tell the story, and I knew that he had been in India. So that's where it all started. And I don't think I think with documentary, as you know, Michael, you don't know where the story is going, and a lot of things can happen. So I didn't know exactly what kind of film this was going to be until it made itself.
Yeah. Well, did you want to capture certain elements that you knew were inherent in dance, whether it's the grit and determination, the absolute sort of beauty of the body movement? What were there certain things that you wanted to make sure were in there?
So I think that, yes, I wanted to show it from the inside. Most dance films are made from people looking inside our world. From the outside, most filmmakers are not professional dancers. And I think that also Yehuda, I came to the film because I knew Yehuda. He had been a teacher of mine in New York, and we became good friends. And I'd also seen him dance in Israel. He was in the Bator company. He was the principal dancer, and I saw him perform, but he didn't know me. But when Yehuda invited me to tell the story, I think that he hoped, not exactly knowing, but he hoped that I, since I am a dancer, that I would show the empathy and the inside story and the sensitivity to the dance world, because it is it's a beautiful world, but as I often say, there's a lot of stereotypes about dance, and there's stereotypes about the career, and they're stereotypes that we've seen from other films, like Black Swan was a very, big Hollywood film that really showed some of the horrors of being a dancer. So people think it's a very short career. They think that it's very competitive and the girls have bloody toes and there's no jobs and the pay is low and you have to retire early. And all of those things are true, but there is a reason why so many people do it, and because they have a passion. So I was hoping to show the inside story, like to be in the studio. What is this life like? And why do people do it? Why do they, if somebody has a passion for something like Manish did, or I did, or Yehuda did, then why did we spend our careers doing this? And so that was what I'd hoped to show.
Manish, when you first met Leslie and started talking about this idea of a film, did you think it was a good idea? Were you nervous? What were your thoughts?
Oh yeah. So first, hello everyone. And when Yehuda told me my friend is coming from US to make a documentary, so because I thought the documentaries are really short, like it will take 1 or 2 days, so I didn't thought that she gonna be there for a while. Yeah. But she was there for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year it took to make a film. So she was there a long time. I didn't expected that. I was like, maybe she'll come to the studio, she'll take a picture of a sweat, she will take a picture of doing a jumps or something like that. That's the maximum we thought. And yeah, like it was fine because she knew dancing, and she know also because Yehuda told us she can, like she was a ballerina before, she can dance. So we were also curious to know things about the dancing, what goes outside. So it was a nice opportunity because like camera is around you, like all the time. And in the beginning it felt very nice. In the beginning, yes. But after a while, like, yeah, there was a lot of things, a lot of things you don't want to say because the documentary they film, it's not a acting. So most of the things happen, it's real. Not most, all of the things. There's the scene where my mom cried and that Leslie come in, still she films it, and I feel like awkward. I was like, why are they filming? My mom is crying. And there are a lot of things, but in the end, it all looked so good on screen. So I was like, of course, she know what she was doing, you know because also we did another film and which you have to act. I did another film, but this one is real, and I love this film a lot. I also always recommend this film to everyone because uh, I don't know, somehow it touches me also because I can see Yehuda, I can see myself, I can reflect back. I feel more gratitude towards the people who helped me. So it never let me forget, to stay me humble also. So it happens, and I'm very grateful about it. But yes, he did to me, and also to Yehuda.
Well, take us back to your 15, 16, 17-year-old self. Uh, what
Yeah.
you had maybe a lot of hopes and dreams, but did you really think that you were going to be able to actualize them? Was there any path?
Oh yeah. So when I was young, like even a 16, 17, 18, I didn't want you to dance. I didn't like it at all. I was like a stereotype guy who is like dances for the girls, not for me. I Yeah, honestly, I didn't even thought still date now. I tell to people, I like everyone thought that that was my dream to be a dancer and everything, like when I was young. And I was like, no, it was opposite. I just wanted to be get seen. So I started with backflip. I was like, okay, if I can able to backflip, everyone will be like, who is this ninja guy? So I just wanted to be seen. I was not good at study. I was not good in sports. I never did sports because you have to pay extra money for shoes, for classes and everything. So only I thought if I can able to do backflip, I would be seen by the people. But then slowly, slowly, I don't know, I felt so good about it because I was like, oh, dance is giving me a voice. People want to hear me. people want to talk to me. And then that's how I got into it. And then I met Yehuda, and then Yehuda showed hope, and something, like he told me that I'll make you something. No one told me that before that. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is such a big guy, and uh, he a professional dancer. Everyone knows him and everything. And he said that I can become something. So that was something very special for me. And I was like, okay, if he can believe, then why not me? So that's how I started my dance journey. He gave
Yeah.
me hope, and yeah, that's what you need sometimes, just a little hope.
Yes. Yes. And somebody to believe in you. The
Yeah.
Yehuda, when you first started to look at Manish and evaluate him, what did you see in him that made you think there is real potential here?
Um, First, I want to touch the point that it's not just teaching ballet, it was trying to change culture. When I came to India, nobody knew much about ballet. There wasn't a studio with proper wind bar and mirrors, and I mean, in a movie, even his mother's, I mean, sewing his ballet shoes. So for me, it wasn't just teaching. I'm taking for granted that Amir and Manish had a beautiful athletic body. That's I didn't, try to throw them into the gym so they work a little harder. I tried to teach them about ballet, and suddenly both of them, especially Manish, they I don't know, got fired.
Mm.
And as I was working with them, uh, I I got my own fired,
Mm.
and this combination really make they how should I say it? It really create this unique meeting that that other people saw it from outside, like Miriam, and they want to support her, and so I hope I teach you, Manish, to do plie properly. Okay.
Manish, did you sense that you were igniting a fire in Yehuda?
Uh, I didn't sense for sure because I was in my own confused world. Because for me, the ballet was so new when Yehuda, because even the word and terminology, it's in French. My English was so bad. Still it is, but it was so difficult because I was like, what he's saying, like what language, But Yehuda was always very nice to me, and he always take time, always after the classes. Always, I used to work when the classes used to done because know that I started late and I have to catch up. So he always used to see me, and always after the class used to give me an extra correction or extra something to work one thing at a time. Okay, today let's work on glissade. Let's work on today changement, how to do properly, and how to do, like, the words were very hard. I used to write in the book that what it called, what it is, because I want to learn that language. It made me very curious, and one of the reasons was Yehuda, because he was believing in me constantly, and I was like, I don't want to let him down. Also, because he's like, I was in scholarship in that institute, and I was like, no, I have to do everything that he expects from me to do it, because this guy believe in me. There are so many people like in India, and he chose me and Amir. There might be something in us, and we have to prove him right that he chose us, and he's right. So
And he
yeah.
said, and he said that he found two diamonds in a pile of gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
what a blessing.
Yehuda said that. Yeah.
Yeah. To be able to find two diamonds in that, that's amazing.
No, no,
And you also said, Yehuda, that you won the lottery.
right. I went to my boss in India and I said, listen, I find uh, two guys that are completely out of the chart. You know, I can train them. I can make them going to. I had a lot of connection with school and ballet company around the world, and so I told Ashley, my director, that I would like to really put my time and my energy. Um, and then a few months later, this lady called Miriam Bauer, yeah, saw a little article about this story about me working with the two boys, and she called me and said, "I will sponsor it." So immediately it opened, and I can go back to my teacher, my teacher, my boss, and I could tell him that it won't cost you any money. It's just give us the time and studio, and so that's part of of,
Yeah, very important part. And I want to remind our audience too that if you want to sign up for the Realist, there's a QR code that or a graphic that will show up to allow you to do that. Or if you just want to type it in, it's realist.stream, REELIST.stream is where you'll find this platform for independent films. Leslie, when you had been there for a while, started to assess who your characters are, which is what a director is going to do. Who are the characters that are going to embody this film? Was there anything that was a sort of a surprise moment for you, or perhaps a challenging moment? You kind of break through that initial everybody getting used to the camera, as Manish was saying, and now you're all together and something's going to come out of it. What was that like?
Well, the first time, when Yehuda invited me to come and tell this story, and I thought about, I'm going to be telling Yehuda's story and his career. That's where I knew that I was going to be starting, and that he was teaching these kids. But I didn't know much beyond that. But then in the beginning, I went to do a scout, which is when you go and make sure there is a story. And I went I filmed for just like 3 or 4 days, and filmed in the studio, and filmed with Manish, and filmed with Amir. And when I met Manish for the first time, I saw that his English wasn't as good as it is now, but he was filled with stories. And we did an interview with him, and he just had so many stories coming out of him. And I was always like, wait, tell me that story again. I didn't quite understand. Tell me again. Tell me again. And I felt that as a character, that he had a lot of charisma and he had a lot to say. And that, of course, makes an interesting story when you have a good character. And Manish is a good protagonist, and there's a lot that's in there. And what I identified with is that we come from different backgrounds, but I saw Manish's passion in his heart for the work he was doing and his love of dance, and that connected me to him right away. And I didn't know where the stories would lead, but I knew that I had a character who was passionate, and that is very important. And one thing I wanted to go back to what Yehuda said, and he mentioned Mariam Ram, who was the sponsor, Manish's sponsor, and she also sponsored Amir. I, if when you watch the film at the very end, I give a dedication to Mariam, and I do that because the sponsors and the patrons of the arts are often go unrecognized. And what we see is the people who are on the stage or on the screen. We see the people out front, but there's all these people behind, and the patrons are so important. And if we didn't have the patrons, we would not have any of the arts. And that's with the media arts as well. So your people who are signing up to see the realist and watching documentaries, they're patrons of the arts. They're paying a certain amount of money every month, or you go buy a ticket to a movie, or you go see something. Well, you're a patron as well. And the arts would not exist, whether it's film or dance or any of the arts wouldn't exist if there wasn't the patrons or the audience. And so um, I feel that those people, just like in the Renaissance, we had the Medici family. We would not have all of those great artists if we didn't have the families, the Medici family that supported them. So I feel very strongly that, like your viewers are patrons, and it's important that everybody understands that every time they purchase a subscription, like to the realist, or they go to see something or go to a museum, they are supporting the arts. And then the artists, without them, the artists would not have a place to show their work and be who they are. So I just wanted to mention that. So that's why I dedicated the end to Mariam, the patron of the arts in this
Yeah,
film.
yeah, yeah. It's great, and I think it's a really important point that the artists don't exist without the patrons and the audience, and the audience helps make it all work. We all have to kind of be together in this belief in the arts, and
Right.
uh, and so
It's a reflection of our culture as well.
yeah,
So it really is something. It's another form of communication, and it's just a different one. It's just using our words, and I think it's just very important because a lot of people, they listen to music and they don't even realize, oh, music and the composers, those are artists. And the more we listen and pay for these things and don't just like download things for free, we are supporting the artists who made them.
yeah. Manish, you started off by saying
Yes.
you like to dance, so because of the attention that it brought you when you were young. As you became more attuned to ballet and what you were trying to accomplish, um, did you begin to recognize it as a form of communication the other way?
Yes. When really got into it, everything, like because of the help of Yehuda, like he always used to talk about, how it happens in the company, because in India there is no proper company. So we don't know how it feels. So he used to tell all the stories about his when he was in the company and everything. But when I went outside and I realized it, I'm like, yes, I can I can speak to so many different people from different part of the world because we're in the same room and trying to learn a same language, that is dance. So already we are communicating with each other. I got to dance in the company where the dancers are from Japan, from Europe, from UK, from Germany, from Canada, from US, and we're in the same room. So it's like you never get to like I don't know, maybe in the another career, but you never get to be in that same kind of a room and dance with so many different dancers from different country. They were different culture, different way of speaking, different habits, but you learn from them. It's not just now I realize that I didn't just learn dancing, but I learned a lot more things to being a dancer, and I'm very grateful for that. And still day I just sometimes I miss this because right now I'm in India. I'm not dancing that much, but I'm teaching what Yehuda used to do. I always wanted to do that, and I want to take his legacy forward in India. I don't want to forget my country and my people also. I wanted to give back, and that's why also I came back and I'm doing that. And I also understand more Yehuda now because from the different lens. Now I am a teacher. It give you a different way. Now I can understand what Yehuda used to tell me, because now I see my student also dancing and it do fulfill your heart. I was like, what Yehuda getting from it? He teaching us, I'm getting career out of it. I get to go outside, what Yehuda is getting from it. Why he's like shouting at me to do it again, Manish. Why are you missing the class? Why this? And now what? Now I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, no, it's so fulfilling to see. I'm his product. Like, he shaped me. He's an artist. He sculptured me. And now what I'm doing it, I feel so happy when I see my students now they're dancing, and then I feel like teary eyes. I feel like, wow, they're doing so good. It's worth it sometime leaving your dreams and building other dreams.
We,
So I
we
have now more respect for Yehuda.
actually,
Yeah, when I'm now teaching.
we
Yeah.
have a question from the audience asking where are you dancing and teaching now? What are you doing these days?
Yes, so I'm teaching in Mumbai in ICMD. It's Institute of Modern Classical Dance. Well, Institute of Classical and Modern Dance, ICMD. Yeah. So I'm teaching there, and I'm trying to dance a little bit here and there, not so much because not so many opportunity, but I'm trying to create for myself also, and also trying to learn Indian classical again little bit because I'm here. I don't want to waste the time also because I want to keep inspiring myself. But I always thought about it because I wanted to go a little bit early back to India so I can demonstrate and I can do the things, and then they can see me in front of me. Because when we were growing up, Yehuda used to show us in the videos all the breezes, all the big stuff like Alasakon, pirouettes. But in the video, everyone can see. But if you see in front of you, you get more inspired. And I know that because when I went outside and I see people doing in front of me, I was like, I can do that. So that's what I wanted to give to Indian dancers too, the kids who want to learn. So I went back a little bit early so I can physically demonstrate. I physically jump. And then they sometime in the class, wow. But they feel like, oh, now we can do it. Manish did it. We can do it. They have more like hunger. The people, the students here in India, they are very much hungry for everything. They're very disciplined. They respect teachers a lot. That teachers are sometimes harsh also here, but outside when I went first time, the teacher were very nice. They were very polite. They even asked you to touch you. They're like, can I touch you to correct you? But in India, Yehuda, how you used to do it's like that. But it's very fulfilling being here. And of course, I will go outside again after 1 or 2 years and also dance a little bit. But yeah, right now I really want to teach these hungry kids and help them. Some of them already got into national, like School of National Ballet of Canada, some in Joffrey Ballet, some in London, some. So it feels nice that before they were just two of us who was outside. Now there are so many young generation and they're already starting very young.
Yes,
So doing good in India
you're creating
One
many.
thing I think,
and
oh,
started by
sorry.
Yehuda.
One thing I think
Yeah,
for your audience is that Manish was dancing in New York. Like when you finish the film, well, I'm not going to say what happens, but he was in New York now for the last how many years, Manish? Five?
5 years I was dancing.
5 years.
Yeah.
So he was dancing, and now he's taking a year to give back to students, just as Yehuda gave to him.
It's wonderful. Leslie, another question from the audience, which is, you mentioned that there are, well, a lot of behind the scenes people when it comes to any of the arts. For you, did you have big crews, or did you just have camera and sound? What was it? Who were the behind the
It
scenes folks for you?
mostly and particularly in India, it was there were small crews, and pretty much always it was small. And so my co-director is Pip Gilmore, and so we did this together. I mean, she always said, "This is your film, Leslie," because it was my baby and it was like uh, about dance. But she is an amazing director. So she was, and I was not experienced as a director at all. So we did this together, and then we would pick up crews. We had a crew in India, but everything was always small because you can't get those intimate scenes. So it would maybe be one sound person, but not always, and one camera, and Pip and myself. So 4 of us. And you can't be in an intimate space if there's a big crew. Then it's not natural. I don't think his mother or his parents would have responded in a very personal way if there was suddenly like, like it's a Bollywood film and there's like 20 or 30 people. So you need to be a very small crew for documentary, as well as documentary is the stepchild of all of the films like Hollywood. I mean, it's the like the lowest in terms of there's not a lot of money. It's just a lot of passion by the filmmaker and the team. And so we can't even afford too much, but yeah, so it's usually fairly small. And even when Manish, I mean, I guess we can say he went to New York, but we already said that. I live in Washington, D.C. I didn't know that he would be going to New York when I started making this film. I mean, I'm just following him, and then suddenly he's in New York. So I was able to go up to New York, and when he got off, he can tell you that story, but follow him from the minute he got off the plane, and I was able to film it myself and to be there more frequently because it's only a 3 or 4 hour drive. So I was able to be there, and then I would do it by myself. I did the sound, I did everything by myself. But Manish will tell you his story where he got very upset with me.
Yeah, because I landed in New York and I saw her and she's like, I'm not there. She's with the phone. I'm like, go where you have to go. And I'm like, I don't have an address, Can I have a phone, your phone? Like, she's like, no, you can't have my phone. I'm like, I don't have internet. How am I going to find to go to Brooklyn from here, from New Jersey? I never know the railway lines, nothing. She's like, no. And like that time I had my shoulder, some pain and all, everything after a whole journey and everything. And I got into a wrong train. And she also got into the wrong train filming me. And I'm like, really? Like, after, like, you can just help me, give me a phone or something. Like, I can see the Google Maps or something. She's like, no, figure out by yourself. So she was not at all helpful. So it's like, after 16, 17 hours of a flight and then all, two big bags I have, and I'm like going up and down from the one subway to another subway. And she refused to help. She's like, you do it,
Yeah.
I'm not here. Yeah, and
How
when
did that
I got
feel?
to my
How did
place, she
that
just
feel?
gave me a hug
How did
and
you
she's
feel
like,
about
good. I'm like, okay.
Can I touch
Yeah.
something that
So
we forgot?
it? Yes.
We're talking about the technique. I'm talking about um, why why it was in the beginning very difficult for the two boys is the excellent that I demand from them. They have to not in a class. It was completely harsh, very hard to help them. It create little competition between them, and they train about 4 or 5 hours a day, and the thing is, for me, the big picture is not just to taught them the plie, the tendu, to teach them Prokofiev, who's Mozart. There's no education, classical education. And what happened after a year or even more boys and some girls joined this class and start getting, Leslie, how you said, kick,
Like
and they
excited about it.
not excited like uh, we have in America. They kick the bucket, kick the not the bucket. The Coca-Cola, the can, kick the can,
Yeah.
help them to, and that's what's for me the with the rewarding. And now there's a lot of little stories that I used to buy them chocolate ice cream after class in Starbucks in
Yes.
Mumbai. Everybody in Mumbai, Manish.
One
Okay.
thing I'd like to add to that is about that intense training is that people don't realize that ballet is an Olympic sport and you have to train on the same level as an Olympic athlete. And that means, every day, 4 or 5 hours, it's intense training. And it can seem a little bit harsh sometimes, but I mean, Michael, because you know a lot about sports, that
Mhm.
the coach, the trainer, like Yehuda, the teacher, is like a coach. And to push someone to run that extra distance in a mile or jump a certain, height, our bodies don't normally want to do that. I mean, it's not natural to do that kind of physical activity that we're pushing, pushing,
Yes,
pushing.
but we look for other things like emotional. Um, we learn duets or something from famous ballet, and the feeling, it wasn't just doing exercise.
Technique.
Right. Special Manish. Manish was incredible technician, and slowly, when we, what about Manish? When we came to the space, to the studio, he changed. He's completely focused, and that's why I love so much about him. He, what we call focus dancer, with a lot of things against him, and he just go for it. And eventually, the few performances in New York, I thought he is wonderful. That he really achieved um, nice recognition from choreographers, and people in New York want to work with him.
Manish, did you know that you had to be in a hurry, that you were starting late? Did you understand that?
Uh, yes, I knew it because everyone told me, like, to do a ballet, you have to be young. And I think I did my first ballet class when I was 21. So I knew it that it is, but I was like always, I was very optimistic in a way because I was like, I want to do this and I have only this life. I can't leave it to next life because who knows there is a next life or not. So every day I'm gonna get older, not younger. So if I start now, I'm the youngest. Maybe one day I will achieve it, but at least I can say I tried, you know. And I never thought that I will able to do like a in a ballet thing, that was always a dream for me. But I can tell I got an opportunity because of my director, Yehuda's friend, also Igal. I got to do a Nutcracker as a prince. That was not even in my list at all because I'm like, to be a principal role, you really have to start when you are young. Maybe I can get into the court dancer or something like that, but not a prince. And I told to my director, "Man, I, I'm short. I don't think so. I can." He's like, "No, I believe in you. You can." And so when I did that role, and after that day, after finishing the performance, I was almost cried by myself alone. After I was like, when I was started dancing, I never thought that I will reach it. I never even dreamed, like in my wildest dream, that I ever got to perform that kind of role. But then I believe, I also thought that there's always a time for a thing. You will never gonna get early, you will never gonna get later. There is a time. It's not in your hand. You just do hard work and you just make your own decision. You don't know. Maybe some that wrong decisions are the right ones you always needed. Right now, also, sometimes I feel like I left my dancing and I come back here to do something. Maybe that's a wrong decision, but sometimes I feel no, maybe that is what needed right now. Right now, I'm fighting here to with my directors to make a sprung floor that Yehuda also wanted, like proper dance floor. So in the future, the dancers, we are doing a fundraiser for it, so people don't get knee injuries and all. Because we used to train with Yehuda. I remember in the floor, which is like a tile cement floor. Yehuda, no. And he used to tell, like, I don't want you to make so much jump. And I thought that everyone in the world do that. We used to get shin pain and everything all the time. And we was like, okay, maybe this is the floor. But when I went to US first time I danced, I'm like, guys, these guys are cheating. Their floor is bouncing a little bit. So I was like, wow. Like, if our dancers, like our people also have this infrastructure, maybe we can produce really one of the best dancers in the world because it's a huge population country. Number one, we have so much talent, so much hunger, just infrastructure, teachers, we don't have. We need so many Yehudas. One Yehuda is not enough. He created me, Amir, and few of us, but there are much more. So I am in that now, a place where I want to do that. Of course, sometimes I do feel I want to dance. It's not that I should say true because I started late. I have more dreams. But I don't know. Let's see. Let's do a one step at a time. Right now I do this and maybe this is the way for me, opening something new or maybe dancing something. But I feel this is the right step I took. And when I look back, I'm very grateful that I have a movie's documentary on me. I look back and I was like, okay, that was the right decision you make. No decision is the wrong decision as long as you can own it.
We have a question from the audience for you, Manish, which is, you know, now that dance is beginning to become a little bit more popular in India, have you noticed an increase in interest among boys in India for ballet?
Dance is very popular in India. Bollywood, Indian dance, classical dance, and everything. Of course, there are less girls, more boys. When Yehuda was there, the class are filled with the male dancers because Yehuda want to work with them very much, like 3, 4 classes. You need require a lot of training, but the parents don't leave the girls to go outside for so long. But right now in my classes, there are only 2 boys. I want more boys. And there are more girls. Yeah. So it is changing. Like, I get always messages in the Instagram and it's like from the boys from different part of the country that I want to train under you. I want to come and I want to do what you did because they can relate a lot with me because I started late and some of them started late. So they sometimes they get denied in a way that you started very late. I don't think so. Dance is for you, but now they can relate. They're like, okay, Manish, you also started late but you made it, so we can also, right? I'm like, yes, of course you can, with the right dedication, right mindset, discipline, right teaching. Anything is possible as long as you have a heart and love for something you want to do. So it's changing, and this year I hope to work with more boys so I can teach some partner work and all. Yeah.
Leslie, as you were, going through this journey, your first time directing a documentary, um, was there a particular challenging moment that you recall, like, wow, this is taking a little longer than I thought, or the funding is drying out, or, there's this story turn that I didn't exist and I'm not sure how we cover it? What were the challenges that you recall?
Well, funding is always a big challenge, and I was never very good at raising money at all. My husband and I supported the film mostly, and we did get some support, but a lot of it was ours. And I think one of the big challenges was that Pip and I had tickets to go back to India. We were sure, like, okay, we have an ending now. And it was March of 2020. We had tickets to go back to Mumbai. And then what happens March of 2020? COVID hits and the world shuts down. India shut down before the United States shut down. And so um, that just took a whole new turn and I had no idea and what to do. And there was a lot of innovation during COVID. And Manish, I was always encouraging him to film himself. And so he used his cell phone. So a lot of the scenes of Manish during COVID and Yehuda are filmed by Manish himself. And then as things started changing a little bit, Pip and I would direct from here, and we had we had a team in India. We weren't allowed to go there, but we did have a team who was allowed to go. I mean, who a team, in Mumbai, and it would be like 3 o'clock in the morning here, and we would direct through in my kitchen until like 7 a.m. interviews or whatever was happening, because the cameraman was there with Manish, and they had a way of we could see what he saw. And if there was, let's say, an interview, like the interview with Mariam, the main interview, we were here. I was in the United States, and she was able to see me, and I was able to interview her and talk to her. But I was here in the United States. And so there was a lot of new tricks and technology that developed out of COVID, but that was a big surprise for me. And of course, it just took the film in a different direction. And then your audience will see what
Well,
happens.
we were training on the roof of a building.
Really?
Yeah. During COVID, yes.
We couldn't leave the house, so we went to the roof, and in 40 degrees, 4 Celsius.
Which is like 100
Yeah.
and something, 100 degrees here in Fahrenheit.
Wow. So
And also, I would say another thing is like back to the sports analogy. A lot of artists can't, or performing artists like dancers can't just stop training. So it's very hard. I think a lot of people forget that there was an Olympics at that time, and a lot of people who were training for the Olympics lost their chance, and they've been training 8, 9, 10 years. And dancers, there were performers who gave up because you can't just train. I mean, they were doing classes. Yehuda was teaching classes to all of the students in Mumbai from his room and through Zoom. But you can't, it's very hard to maintain, to do a sport in like the athletic side of things in your room for 2 years.
And I like to just to tell a little story that Leslie really was special to go inside my guts. She made the scene with Manish's grandmother that everybody was crying. So I want to, Leslie not just stood behind the camera, she also motivated and was my psychiatrist.
Yeah, the scene with Yehuda and Manish. I know he said, Leslie, you'd be a good therapist. That's what he said. Because a lot of emotion came out of you.
Yeah.
Well, then that's a real testament to your filmmaking that you built that kind of trust, because people obviously these guys were vulnerable with their the most important things in their lives, their families and their passion for dance. So that's a testament to you, Leslie. The once the film was finished, can you talk a little bit about the journey? It's an independent film, right? So you don't have studio backing. The path to distributing an independent film has gotten more and more cloudy. What was it like for you to try and find an audience for this?
Well, we started, Manish and I, sorry if you hear my dog in the background. I don't know if you do, but he's upset that he's not in the room with me. We started, our first festival was the Santa Barbara Film Festival. And I'll always remember, there weren't that many people there at all. And Manish was there and I was there. And I remember that a young man came up to Manish and said to him, said to Manish, man, this was amazing. And he said, I always wanted to have a different profession. I wanted to be a filmmaker. we were in Santa Barbara, and he said, but everybody said, don't do it, don't do it. There's no money. It's too competitive. But what you did, and you had all those obstacles, man, I am going to go back to my dreams and do what I want to do. And I said to Manish after that very first screening, I said, that's all one can wish for, that you're in a screening and it changes or it makes an audience think, or that is what art is all about. And I said, we did our jobs right if we evoke that kind of response from someone. But in terms of the distribution, it started, to get into a few festivals. And but once the festivals started, I think it was after first few months, I have to say the festivals kept coming and coming and coming. We started to win awards, which I was really surprised about. Um, and at the end, we won over 25 awards all over the world. And we were, because Yehuda is Israeli and part of the film does take place in Israel, then we were started to be in a lot of Jewish film festivals. But we must have been in over 80, 100 festivals that we were invited to. And but the festivals are only one piece of the distribution, so it's very hard. And I did have an agent, two agents who were helping, and another producer was helping. And it's very difficult because the whole terrain, as you know, Michael, has changed, and with Netflix and Amazon, it's a very different distribution than it used to be 10 years ago. So independent filmmakers, they struggle a lot. Before, there were just a lot more platforms for films to go to. So it was just a lot of making, I think my two agents were good, and that they got pretty far with all, but not far enough. Um, but we did go on PBS last year in 2025, and that was really special that we were on PBS. And it was just before all of the funding cuts as well. Which was also bad because PBS is one of the main platforms for independent filmmakers, and they do show them. And Call Me Dancer was the last film on a program called on the World Channel, and then they closed down. They showed Call Me Dancer, and then they closed, and everybody was fired because of all of the funding cuts. So it just made it that there's fewer and fewer places for independent filmmakers to go. What I do now is, and it's been very successful, is a lot of educational outreach. And so we have been doing screenings in schools. Right now, particularly in the DC area, but actually we're starting next in 2 weeks to teachers in New York City, and teachers really like the film. And one of the things that we do is I bring in the kids see the film, every grades from 3rd grade up to 12th grade. And then I bring in a teaching artist to come in and do some kind of art workshop, a single workshop or a residency. And it could be any kind of art workshop. It could be photography, or it could be dance, it could be anything. And giving that, using the themes of the film. And a lot of the kids really relate to Manish, and to his struggles, and they see what young people see in the United States, and where we're showing it is that they see his searching for his identity. The film is called Call Me Dancer because he kept being called an acrobat, and he said, no, don't call me acrobat, call me dancer. So that's about his identity. He was struggled with his parents and his culture about becoming a professional dancer. So it's about his identity. So the themes of identity, perseverance, resilience that are shown, mentorship, that how we, some of the teaching artists talk a lot about how kids need, they need a mentor, and who is a mentor in your life and who helps you in your life. So that's very important. So right now that's what we're doing a lot of, and it's having a really good impact as well.
Yes, yes, we're really, really thrilled to be able to have the film here and appreciate all of you joining us. And if you're watching on YouTube, it's wonderful. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel for The Realist, and then you can subscribe for the platform at realist.stream, or the QR code that's on screen. But I think people are going to absolutely love this film. It's many already have, but there's a lot more people who could be impacted by it. And so, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. And
Thank you.
we're spread the word, right? For independent.
And Michael, thank you for bringing films like this, and starting The Realist, and bringing independent films to audiences. It's really needed, and it's wonderful what you're doing.
Well, that's my passion. So I'm trying to bring as many great films and great people to exposure as we can. So thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good